greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Anyway, welcome to the State Department. I think we have some interns in the back. Welcome. Good to see you in this exercise in transparency and democracy.
Is that what it is?
Sorry,
I
didn't mean to break
I thought
out
it was an
laughter.
exercise in spin and obfuscation.
All right.
My, what a peculiar place to have a party. You know, Dinah, we really shouldn't be doing this. After all, we haven't been invited, and curiosity often leads to trouble. Goodbye, Dinah. Goodbye.
Are the implications of that fine by the FTC? Julia Borston takes a look.
Today, I am pleased to announce that Google and YouTube have agreed to pay $170 million.
YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki writing that the FTC settlement marks a big change. Quote, today's changes will allow us to better protect kids and families on YouTube, and this is just the beginning. We'll continue working with lawmakers.
Well, hello, and thank you for tuning in to Truth Set Free TV. I'm Vincent Rhodes, your host, and I wanted to talk to you about these new COPA rules that really no content creator will be able to hide from. As a matter of fact, they are going to have very wide sweeping effects on the people who are on the platform. From what I understand, again, there's going to be a $42,000 fine for anyone caught with content that is deemed child content. And so there's going to be a use of bots and a full sweeping of the YouTube platform starting in January. However, in December 10th, the terms of service have changed for YouTube. And basically, YouTube is telling all content creators now that basically we are legally responsible for the content that we put out. And I guess the thing that really disturbs me about it is the fact that, YouTube could possibly just put a hands-off approach to any content that's up and leave you out there by yourself to deal with the FTC. And when the FTC does come in, there's going to be this draconian practice of hitting people with $42,000. Now, from what I understand, YouTube just paid $170 million from, their coffers, and their coffers are quite full. So I think that was kind of like a slap on the wrist for them. They're able to recover. It's kind of like a booking error, the booking error money. So when it comes down to it, YouTube has the money to be able to stay afloat and survive. And these COPA rules that were made up in 1998 were designed to protect young children from people on the internet actually collecting data on them and soliciting them for sales and exploiting children. Now, the COPA rules now are going to be more sternly applied to the YouTube platform, so that people who are out there producing videos, regardless of whether or not the video is a video that was designed for children or not, are going to have to endure the broad sweep of the FTC, which, again, there is a chance that if you're caught with content that is deemed as child content, then you're going to actually face very, very serious consequences. And anyway, Mr. Beast, and this is Daryl Eves, but Mr. Beast has actually, he was reading some of it, some of the rules of what the new policy is going to be for YouTube and the terms of service. So let me let you just hear him.
Or if you are under 13 years of age, then please do not use this service. There are a lot of other great websites for you. Talk to your parents about what websites are appropriate for you. YouTube doesn't want you to use the site if you're 13. Wow.
If you're under the age of 13, then if a child is under the age of 13, then they are not to use YouTube. And so this is the thing that YouTube is doing to protect themselves from the FTC. And so they are telling children that they are no longer welcome on the YouTube platform, which according to the 1998 rule, children weren't supposed to be on YouTube or the internet alone anyway. And so many parents, as you know, have been giving their children iPads and telephones and everything to keep them quiet in the back seat of the car while they drive. Well, that day is over in terms of the way the FTC now has it set up. If a content creator, from what I understand, is still out there and still determined to produce content for children, the way they have to do it is that they have to identify it as content for children, and then they also have to make sure that the content does not collect likes or subscriptions from these children or any comments from them. So they have to remove the comment section, and they're not able to like the video. A child is not able to like the video or any other thing, and certainly they're not to advertise to the child. So this is going to cut heavily into the funds of many of the people who are producing content out there. This is really going to discourage them. And then on top of that, then they have this heavy fine that could be leveled against them at $42,000. Now, from what I understand, this fine was actually designed for corporations, which actually have the money to withstand a $42,000 fine. But when it comes down to content creators and people who are just everyday people, this is going to be something that's going to really, really, threaten, intimidate them from ever producing content again.
I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice, tumbling down the rabbit hole.
I'll probably say it 3 more times. See, in my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in, to kind of catapult the propaganda.
Some of the rules say things like if you are using language in the way that a 12-year-old and under can understand, then you could be possibly producing content for kids. So what they're trying to do now is the FGC is going to come through and do this broad sweep, and it doesn't matter. It's going to be kind of like I said, a Gestapo style way of silencing many content creators and intimidating people into not sharing their voice or making their voice heard.
Because you people and 62 million other Americans are listening to me right now. Because less than 3% of you people read books. Because less than 15% of you read newspapers. Because the only truth you know is what you get over this tube. Right now, there is an entire generation that never knew anything that didn't come out of this tube.
People being paid by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation American journal.
We do have people who submit pieces to American journals.
Television is not the truth. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA, who are working for television networks.
And when the 12th largest company in the world controls the most awesome propaganda force in the whole godless world, who knows what will be peddled for truth on this network?
Regardless of whether or not they are producing content for children or not. I did produce videos that I produced when it came down to doing tutoring and math, and I have several channels up for that. And they are associated with the Christian school that we have. Even those videos could be deemed as content towards children, and then who knows what could be the ramifications. So again, you have to really read all of these rules that FTC is going to be laying on us to do. All of us here should see that something else is about to happen. 2020 will be a different year.
The great Oz has spoken.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
You may not have realized it, but the U.S. has been in official control of the Internet since its development. But that may be about to change, and correspondent Doug McElway tells us not everyone is happy about it.
Its bland name, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, belies its great power. ICANN controls much of the Internet, sending users to the right website and servers, assigning domain names and addresses. When its contract runs out in September of 2015, the Department of Commerce plans to turn over control of ICANN to the international community. Critics say it's a recipe for disaster.
Make no mistake, threats to the openness and freedom of the Internet are real. Some authoritarian leaders, such as Vladimir Putin, have explicitly announced their desire to gain control of the Internet.
Today, 35 GOP members of Congress wrote the Assistant Secretary for Commerce, Lawrence Strickling, asking him to explain the Obama administration's decision to give up control of ICANN. Yesterday, Strickling did little to ease the concerns of a congressional panel.
No one has yet explained to me the mechanism by which any of these individual governments could somehow seize control over the Internet as a whole.
You really don't think that Russia, look, Russia and China have made it very clear what they want to do to suppress Internet freedom.
The president of ICANN has assured critics that plans do not permit an intergovernmental panel, even the UN, from controlling the Internet, and its design prevents central control.
The genius of the Internet that was instilled in its architecture by its founders is that no one can capture it. It's a network of networks.
Critics say there are other concerns, short of outright Internet control.
We get tens of thousands, if not millions, of cyber attacks a day to our government and to our private sector. And I have to believe that any relinquish of control, even the giving out of IP addresses and domain names, can be critical to our national security.
Concern is not exclusive to Republicans.
Well, I thought the system as it was running was doing a fine job.
The president of ICANN says this change was planned long before President Obama took office, and that while authoritarian governments can control what Internet comes into their country, they can't control what is beyond their borders. Brett?
All right, Doug, thank you. Well, what do you think? Do you think the U.S. has control of the Internet? And if so, should it relinquish that control? Let me know at facebook.com/BrettBairSR or on Twitter @BrettBair. You can use the hashtag special report.
Let's put it this way. Money trumps peace sometimes.
We deal in illusions, man. None of it is true. But you people sit there day after day, night after night, all ages, colors, creeds. We're all you know. You're beginning to believe the illusions we're spinning here. You're beginning to think that the tube is reality and that your own lives are unreal. You do whatever the tube tells you. You dress like the tube. You eat like the tube. You raise your children like the tube. You even think like the tube. This is mass madness, you maniacs. In God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion.
Paid by the CIA, who are working for television networks.
This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
The existing people who oversee it have favored some of the big companies like Facebook, Google, and Microsoft. Well, to which I would say, well, so what? What's wrong with that?
Well, if you think there's something wrong with that, because these big corporate entities don't always have the best interest of the average person in mind, then give it to another entity or have it be another American, U.S.-based independent entity that controls it. Why then put it, as a result of that, into international control? I don't understand the reasoning of that.
You know, America, Jim, is the beacon of free speech, free markets. Many other powerful and ascending nations are not. China, for example, very repressive. They've been censoring Google and Facebook. We don't even know who this is going to be turned over to or the development of it thereafter. China could gain some measure of influence and control over it, and that would be a bad thing, wouldn't it?
Right. Welcome back, netizens, to this newest edition in Juice Media series of rap news journalism with me, Robert Foster. This evening we're actively delving in depth to facts which affect all of us who dwell on this internet. And we've got to give a special welcome to all the ladies and agents from the NSA, ASIO, MI5. Glad you're listening in, because today's show is all about surveillance and how it's spreading from the streets into our modems. As we speak, laws are being tacitly written in to implement ways of controlling the expanse of this internet to keep us safe, we're told. But from whom? And will this place ever be the same if these plans go through? To find out, we connect with our first guest to comment on the matter. We're live at the Panopticon with General Baxter. General, son, good to have you back again with us. Explain why the state is spying on us. My fellow Oceanians, as you know, we've always been at war with Eurasia. Or is it East Asia? Either way, it's war and we need division to wage it. But now the proles are connecting online, bypassing these illusory divisions of race, religion, and nationality. Sounds grand to me. It's a catastrophe. Centuries of hard work are being undone, profits are vanishing, and it's due to the internet. It's empowering humanity. We need to get this snafu under control rapidly. How? Behold the latest weapon in the war of terror. Our greatest invention since 9/11. Guaranteed to keep us free and safe forever. I give you the surveillance state.
Bang! 1, 2, 3. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl!
No one knows who the Patriots really are. Even my instructions come from a cutout.
But you're the president. You have power.
No, I'm just a figurehead.
What?
I don't have any control. The real power is in the Patriots' hands.
The Patriots?
The truth behind this country. Politics, the military, the economy. They control it all. They even choose who becomes president. Putting it simply, the Patriots rule this country. That's the story given to the general public. Following his resignation, the Patriots selected me, their new pawn for the presidency.
But that would mean that the presidential race was...
That was quite a show, wasn't it? It was a well-scripted drama staged by the Patriots for the benefit of the public. Even the Democrats and Republicans were dancing to the Patriots' tune. It is a means to preserve the world as it is. It will establish a new form of control. The Patriots will use it to keep their place as the country's true rulers. Right now, they feel pressured and threatened.
By what?
They fear an overabundance of digital information. The world will drown in the coming flood of information, and they along with it. The arsenal plans include a system to digitally manage the flow of information, making it possible to shape the truth for their own purposes. In short, the arsenal system is the key to their supremacy.
The key?
Yes, the GW system. Is the Patriots' trump card. The Patriots' trump card.
The Oracle of Delphi is where you go for information about the future. Thus, the performance is about control of information. In the digital age, the battle for information has just begun.
The president said that arsenal gear was the Patriots' key to supremacy.
That's as good a description as any.
What exactly is it?
It's a massive data processing system capable of controlling information on a global scale.
A data processing system?
That's right. The system's a social device for maintaining the Patriots' control. Now, look at it like this. Political scandal, corporate corruption, up until now, the Patriots have managed to keep a lid on these and other self-serving events. But with their existing data processing system, they're no longer able to effectively control the flow of information generated at the individual level. With the newly created system, they can fully regulate digital information. High-level information can be categorized in stages, given clearance levels, and deleted as necessary, never to be seen by the public.
Raiden, are you receiving? We're still here.
How's that possible? The AI was destroyed.
Only GW.
Who are you?
To begin with, we're not what you'd call human. Over the past 200 years, a kind of consciousness formed layer by layer in the crucible of the White House. It's not unlike the way life started in the oceans 4 billion years ago. The White House was our primordial soup, a base of evolution. We are formless. We are the very discipline and morality that Americans invoke so often. How can anyone hope to eliminate us? As long as this nation exists, so will we.
Cut the crap! If you're immortal, why would you take away individual freedoms and censor the net?
Jack, don't be silly.
Don't you know that our plans have your interests, not ours, in mind?
What?
Jack, listen carefully, like a good boy.
The mapping of the human genome was completed early this century. As a result, the evolutionary log of the human race lay open to us.
We started with genetic engineering, and in the end, we succeeded in digitizing life itself.
But there are things not covered by genetic information.
What do you mean?
Human memories, ideas, culture, history.
Genes don't contain any record of human history.
Is it something that should not be passed on? Should that information be left at the mercy of nature?
We've always kept records of our lives, through words, pictures, symbols, from tablets to books.
But not all the information was inherited by later generations. A small percentage of the whole was selected and processed, then passed on. Not unlike genes, really.
That's what history is, Jack.
But in the current digitized world, trivial information is accumulating every second, preserved in all its triteness, never fading, always accessible.
Rumors about petty issues, misinterpretations, slander.
All this junk data, preserved in an unfiltered state, growing at an alarming rate.
It will only slow down social progress, reduce the rate of evolution.
Right. You seem to think that our plan is one of censorship.
Are you telling me it's not?
You're being silly. What we propose to do is not to control content, but to create context.
Create context?
The digital society furthers human flaws and selectively rewards development of convenient half-truths. Just look at the strange juxtapositions of morality around you.
Billions spent on new weapons in order to humanely murder other humans.
Rights of criminals are given more respect than the privacy of their victims.
Although there are people suffering in poverty, huge donations are made to protect endangered species. Everyone grows up being told the same thing.
Be nice to other people.
But beat out the competition.
You're special. Believe in yourself and you will succeed.
But it's obvious from the start that only a few can succeed.
You exercise your right to freedom, and this is the result. All rhetoric to avoid conflict and protect each other from hurt. The untested truths, spun by different interests, continue to churn and accumulate in the sandbox of political correctness and value systems.
Everyone withdraws into their own small gated community, afraid of a larger forum. They stay inside their little ponds, leaking whatever truth suits them into the growing cesspool of society at large.
The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one is invalidated, but nobody is right.
Not even natural selection can take place here. The world is being engulfed in truth.
And this is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper.
We're trying to stop that from happening.
It's our responsibility as rulers. Just as in genetics, unnecessary information and memory must be filtered out to stimulate the evolution of the species.
And you think you're qualified to decide what's necessary and not?
Absolutely. Who else could wade through the sea of garbage you people produce, retrieve valuable truths, and even interpret their meaning for later generations?
That's what it means to create context.
I'll decide for myself what to believe and what to pass on.
But is that even your own idea?
Or something Snake told you.
That's the proof of your incompetence right there. You lack the qualifications to exercise free will.
That's not true. I have the right.
Does something like a self exist inside of you?
That which you call self serves as nothing more than a mask to cover your own being.
In this era of ready-made truths, self is just something used to preserve those positive emotions that you occasionally feel.
Another possibility is that self is a concept you conveniently borrowed under the logic that would endow you with some sense of strength.
That's crap!
Is it? Would you prefer that someone else tell you? All right then. Explain it to him.
Jack, you're simply the best, and you got there all by yourself.
Oh, what happened? Do you feel lost? Why not try a bit of soul searching?
Don't think you'll find anything, though.
Ironic that although self is something that you yourself fashioned, every time something goes wrong, you turn around and place the blame on something else.
It's not my fault. It's not your fault.
In denial, you simply resort to looking for another, more convenient truth in order to make yourself feel better.
Leaving behind in an instant the so-called truth you once embraced.
Should someone like that be able to decide what is truth?
Should someone like you even have the right to decide?
You've done nothing but abuse your freedom.
You don't deserve to be free.
We're not the ones smothering the world. You are.
The individual is supposed to be weak, but far from powerless. A single person has the potential to ruin the world.
And the age of digitized communication has given even more power to the individual. Too much power for an immature species.
Building a legacy involves figuring out what is wanted and what needs to be done for that goal. All this you used to struggle with. Now we think for you.
We are your guardians, after all.
You want to control human thought? Human behavior?
Of course. Anything can be quantified nowadays.
If you notice here, it says Q is a clearance. Okay, it has to do with clearance. Q is access authorization for the Department of Energy. Okay? So, Q, Anon, or anonymous, Q is supposed to be about clearance. Okay, so this information that's coming out, that's coming through so-called Q, I think it's kind of interesting that also this has to do with clearance, okay, which has to do with data. That's pretty interesting. But what's even more interesting than that, and I wonder if anybody else out there has connected these dots, is that IBM just announced their quantum Q System 1. You think that's a coincidence?
How does this situation look? I have one word for you, Robert. Double plus ungood. The world populace of 7.4 billion are all headed in the direction of Orwellian totalitarian oblivion. My voice is horse yelling about stellar winds, cold chilling them and trap wire weaving through the world wide web we all dwelling in. Face it, the all-seeing eyes in all of our Facebooks like a virus, and in these iPhones with Siri, or should I say Iris. Next in line is RFID devices and mind chips triggered by chemtrails. The plague spray the sky.
Anonymous is also another word for unknown. I may know that. Q, unknown. You start connecting the dots to CERN, and you understand what we read about in the book of Acts, the unknown God. And they're already worshiping AIs. Folks, do you see what's going on here? somehow, this beast of a network, computer network that's being set up, somehow it plays a part in all of this. There's no question. No question. And don't you find it strange that one of the leading companies out there that works with now they used to be at odds. They actually used to be against each other. Now they're working together. IBM and Oracle. Do you think that's kind of strange?
Meet Oliver and Kathy. Aren't they cute? Kathy got a little overexcited making her lasagna surprise and forgot to turn off the oven. Surprise! You know how there's a limit for how long you can put off car maintenance? Well, Oliver didn't.
Come on!
Hear that? That's how this air conditioner with a failing capacitor cries for help. Of course, if no one listens...
Have you seen this?
And when the appliances revolt, guess who Kathy and Oliver are going to blame? This guy. Bless his heart, he's trying so hard.
Can you hang on 1 second?
There's only so much he can do with outdated technology. Well, plot twist, this whole nightmare never actually happened. It was all avoided by a team of connected devices and a fully automated service center. I'm Athena, their loyal virtual assistant. Rather than Kathy and Oliver not taking care of us, we're taking care of them. Remember my smoking oven friend? Well, he and others like him have been sending data back through the service organization. And product development found that ovens were left on by a lot of owners. So Mr. Oven got a genius upgrade that does this. So Kathy, Oliver, and the smoke alarm can sleep tight. As for the car... Hello, Oliver.
Hey, Athena.
I just wanted to inform you of a few maintenance items we need to take care of.
Oh, yeah, good catch. Let's schedule a technician for maintenance.
Great. Consider it done. Oh, and my buddy the AC unit was able to notify the service center about its capacitor all by itself. They sent a field tech to fix it without Kathy and Oliver ever breaking a sweat. But we didn't stop there. We adjusted the security system, taught Kathy about conserving water with her washing machine, and took care of all kinds of other issues before they became, issues.
Athena, set temperature to 68 degrees and close all windows.
Okay. So now that the Olivers and Kathys of the world are all taken care of, the folks at the service organization can focus on making the customer experience even better.
Athena, could you send me the results of the oven firmware updates on the TC17s?
Sure, Chase. You also have 3 minutes until your executive meeting to discuss new automation.
All right, awesome. Tell me a joke, Athena.
Okay. Why did the service manager cross the road? He had old technology and couldn't automate it.
Try harder, Athena.
How about this? 2 muffins are sitting in an oven.
We need to definitely try to stay in touch over the emails and that kind of thing. And I do have a number of people who subscribe to my email list. And that's the way they do that is that they go to my website at truthsetfreetv.com, and then they subscribe to the email there. And then I can contact you and get in touch with you and that kind of thing. We can also meet also on Facebook until Facebook actually starts to do the same thing. So we'll see what happens with that. So, but with this YouTube, we really are looking at, again, they're playing a very high stakes game, and there's a possibility, there's no guarantee that a person could be sued $42,000 on multiple videos running into the millions of dollars. And then if a person's not able to pay that, then there could be jail time and otherwise, so we're looking at really draconian practices. And the word draconian means that they're using a very heavy hand for a light offense. And this is what it seems to be deliberate, because nobody could be that stupid. I'm sure the FTC is not that dumb, And I'm sure that there are a number of people who have other things, other reasons why they are doing what they do. Anyway, you let me know what you think about this. Like, subscribe, or don't. But remember, until next time, that Jesus is the light of the world, and the truth shall set you free. God bless.